Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside another one of my GMT acquisitions. This time an expansion for an existing coin game titled Falling Sky. It is a game designed by Andrew and Volko Runke that depicts the Gallic revolt against Caesar. In Ariovistus, it's a prequel to that, going back in time to when Caesar first ventured into the area. And in this one, it's again 1 to 4 players, and it says here on GMT's site that Ariovistus expands Falling Sky to take 1 to 4 players back to Caesar's first entry into Gaul, with a Helvetian migration challenging the Aedui and Germanic tribes pressing close behind. New components and faction enable 1 player to take command of the Germanic tribes, while veteran Roman, Aedui, and Belgic players face unfamiliar strategic dynamics and deal with new events. For the hardiest, an extended scenario covers Caesar's full time in Gaul, nearly a decade of resistance and revolt. So there's plenty more game in the Falling Sky game itself when you get this expansion. And we'll take a look inside the bag. We're not going to do an unboxing today, it's an unbagging. So in this bag, you get a new deck of cards, as you can see, some new components. Let's get everything out first before we talk about what's in it. And some new counters as they fell out. And some new wood bits. So, standard coin wood bits embossed, as we've come to expect and we love with this coin series. New counters that you'll have for different aspects of the game. Another new deck of cards specific to this expansion. And then you have expansion rules, non-player rules of play, and another playbook just for Ariovistus, as well as your bots, and we've got 2, 3, 4 of the bots here for the different factions, and you've got your sequence of play, a couple of those, and then the non-player Romans and all of the other factions and the non-player Germans inside this one. It goes into also the other non-player factions as well. And I'm not sure what the difference is. I think this is, oh, that's what this is. This is the updated bots for Falling Sky, and then this is specific to Ariovistus. So that's why it helps when you read, Mo. So there we go on those, and then the sequence of play, as we've already talked about, the playbook goes into specifically Ariovistus, and it covers the Germanic role and strategy, design notes, event text and notes, credits, and new card list. It's only 12 pages long, fairly short. So, you know, as I say, this is just an expansion. It covers just the expansion itself, just this topic in it. And the Germanic role of strategy, it says you're Ariovistus, king of the Suebi, and can call upon the numbers and warlike spirit of the greatest tribe of Germania. And it goes into all the different parts of the German role and strategy, as it says here. And then there's design notes from Volko, which if you've ever read any of Volko's notes, it's just, they're very interesting. He's an extremely thoughtful designer, and interesting to get inside his head and see what he's thinking in his design intent. And then we go over the cards and the card events as well through the rest of this. And the back of the book explains the different new cards that are in it. And then non-player rules of play. This goes into the new bots that you have and how they work. And pretty short, sweet, to the point. It's about 11 pages long. And then the expansion rules go up to page 20. In this, it has an introduction on page 2, a sequence of play, commands, special abilities, events, winter phase, victory, and then how to handle your non-players. And then setup and scenarios start on 13, counter manifest on 18, and new terms index on 20. Here we got the introduction. It explains to you the components, the new components for the factions, sequence of play, your commands, how the Roman march works, special abilities in general for each of the factions, events and winter phase. And then you have victory, how to determine victory, and then walks through the non-players. And the setup and scenarios. Here is where we get into your setup and scenarios. And you've got it all laid out for you in graphical format here, so that way you can see as well as follow along with the text in the book as far as where everything goes. Because I'm always talking about illustrated examples of play. I also like the illustrated setups, because you can read it and stuff, but it's also nice to verify that you definitely did have everything in the correct position and where to find these things, because these are not words that we normally say on a daily basis in today's language. So it helps to have a little bit more of a visual cue as far as where everything sets up. And this is one of the coolest new things. These are new player mats. Look at these, nice and chunky, real nice big player mats. Much better than my player mat, what I did with the original Falling Sky. The other war game's best friend aside from counter clipping is the laminator, and these work fine and they work great, but now those are gone. I'm going to use these now. I'm sorry, it's just, these are awesome. I love big chunky player mats. It keeps things from sliding around. These are great, like I said, and with the lamination, it's great, but also lamination can be kind of a double-edged sword because things can slide quite a bit. Here, these have a little bit of a gloss to them, but they're like a semi-gloss, where they're going to slick, but they're going to be slick, but they're still going to have a little bit of stick to them as well. So, really nice addition. Look at those. You've got your 5 player mats, and that's nice and thick, and we'll compare them to the player mats from before, even after they've been laminated, and there really is no comparison. These went out every time, so that's just another value add from GMT on that. But that is a look inside Ariovistus, the Falling Sky expansion from Andrew and Volko Runke. If you have not played Falling Sky, it's an interesting game. All of the coin games are interesting in their own right, but this one is a period of time that I'll be completely honest, I am fairly ignorant on. And that's one of the great things about war games, is you get to learn about new pieces of history that you were either ignorant of or just didn't care to learn before, and you find out it's a lot of fun and very interesting, and just a really exciting bit of knowledge to gain. So that is a look at Ariovistus from GMT Games, and it is available now. So if you haven't gotten it and you have Falling Sky, I recommend getting it, and enjoy those big player mats. If you have any comments or questions, post them below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.